So a couple of days ago, I received this question of everyone can produce stuff they want to see and also find their own voice, whether we talk writing or video. And as I've written articles every day during a 10-month period and pretty regularly after that, I want to share my story on how I got from nothing to where I'm right now in terms of writing a video, and also share a little bit what has worked for me for both platforms. When I started out, I definitely wanted to impress. I had this productivity system that I thought that it was the best ever, and this translated pretty well to the first articles, which are basically like, do this is how it is, no questions asked, so forth. But as I look back, I can see some insecurities there. You probably heard this classic adage that it's only the small dogs who bark. There were not a lot of stories, there were not a lot of case examples, and if you see the tone, it's more of a case of, I'm right, please accept that right, rather than this was work for me and hopefully you too. And if we talk video, it was especially apparent. And if you check back in the videos in early January this year, you can see a shift in how I spoke. Previously I was very artificial and stilted because I thought that you need to be. But now I'm as natural as I can possibly be. I don't even use a script, and in order to have this more authentic connection that is pretty important if we talk about this find your voice thing. And as I've been better to see this trait in my former self and even my current self from time to time, real talk, I see this also in upcoming creators. There are young creators like 19 to 20 years old who try to look good and obsess about their personal brands and stuff, but they're probably forgetting or not seeing that anyone can write. Anyone with a keyboard can write as convincing as them. So it's hard to stand out there. And especially when you're young, you think you know everything when you actually don't. I can say this from my own experience. So my journey went from more artificial to more natural, more pretentious to more relaxed, hopefully. And I believe it's going to continue that way. More and more relaxation, more and more open up, more and more non-needy, called it that. And with that said, I want to leave you with the 3 tips that worked tremendously for me in terms of finding my own voice and creating something I want to watch or read. It's pretty inevitable though that we have to imitate in order to know what's good and also be able to create something for ourselves. And when I first started out in writing, I was heavily influenced by Tiago Forte's writing back in the days. Right now, my biggest influence is actually Mr. Who's the Boss, and you will see that in probably 1 week or 2 weeks or so. I even bought some green screens for this, and that's right, from now on you're going to see me do a lot of things like this, just walking into the screen and being in the multiple environments and so forth. It's going to be fun. That's personally something I like a lot. But yeah, small appearance there, and it will certainly be more apparent next week or so. Anyway, back to the main video. But I think the goal here, whether we're talking writing or in video, that you want to be your favorite creator. And although it can seem a little bit repetitive that you work something and then watch it afterwards, you don't really get the first glance experience in the way that viewers get, I think it still has its aspirations. For instance, when I created my last videos or so, I want to watch them again and again and again. This is a very good sign that it resonated particularly with me, and if it resonates particularly with me, it's probably going to resonate particularly well for someone else too. And this brings us to the second tip actually. I mentioned in articles before I become more self-aware, called that I imagined that I wrote for someone else, but I wasn't particularly aware that that someone else could be myself. I didn't have this neutral observer perspective in the way that I have now, and it was more of a case of hope that hopefully someone else would like this. Hopefully someone else would find it particularly insightful, rather than see for yourself, like, if someone else did write it and not me, would I read it or would I watch it and be ultimately enjoyed by it? And you know your preferences. I mean, this is why you have your watch later list with all your favorite content, or your reading list with all your favorite content. And I know it's very difficult. I particularly struggle with this in elementary school, but it's pretty valuable once you get that. And the third thing is, once again, the comfort level and being more proficient in what you're doing and so forth. And that, of course, takes some practice. And this comfort level is what I've really been working on for the past month or so. And I can see it is paid off from there. It's much easier for me to form sentences on the fly and just talk like I would talk normally, which is what we're definitely going for here. I would even go so far to say that you can only develop real charisma, called it that, if you no longer care about it, but just genuinely be yourself. And this charisma non-neediness is apparently very attractive too if you're into that. So to summarize it really quick, it's all about knowing what you like to read and watch and so forth, and know how you react to different text and different videos as if you were not the one behind it but the one first looking at it. And also be more comfortable by simply practice and see what is working, do more on that, and realize that you don't need this extra have to do this and have to do this and have to do this before it becomes good. It's more a case of I show up and then it becomes good naturally. And this, I believe, you can find your own voice once you let go of the idea to pretend for anyone else by simply showing up as you are. No need to be extra huff and puffy for that. And let me know if that was helpful and you want more insightful videos based on like stories of writing and videos, so forth. I'll be happy to provide them. I'll see you in this video right here, and always remember that you're the most amazing human being alive.